Uh, what year was it, and how did you originally end up hooking up with Death Row?
Oh, the year was like when Death Row first started. But I used to mess with Mr. Knight back in like '88 when we started. He was a bodyguard. Then when he became Dre and Easy and their manager, I was there originally. Started Death Row though.
Oh, okay, okay.
When it started.
And did you have, were you there in in an official capacity? Like, did you have a certain job title that you were doing, or would you kind of just do whatever needed to be done at the time?
No, the title was really like a security title, but it was really like when it first started out, he was like, homie, I had a lot of leeway, me, Chill, and one of the homies, rest in peace, bunches, before he passed, but it was like basically us three. Then he had a lot more security, but it was like security basically though.
Okay. Okay. And a lot of people, yeah. And a lot of people have heard, your name from the Tupac to Live and Die in L.A. Can you tell me, I don't know if it's a story or what it meant the first time you heard it, when you heard that he had said your name on that track?
Well, at that time, I had got arrested. At that time, I think this was like 95, 96. Right when he made it, I got arrested. And, I guess he decided, give a shout out, to me like, stay strong, keep your head up type of shot. You know what I mean? And, he was all right, man. For the time that I, knew him, he was a pretty straight youngster. So he was just probably like, you know what I'm saying? Speaking up for his, one of his partners or whatever, giving a shout out. Keep your head up, you know what I mean? Keep it pushing. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
That's basically.
So the time that you were around him, basically was that like from when he got out in October of '95 or whatever to whenever you got locked up?
Yeah. Well, it was like, from the time he got out, we could fly out to New York, probably been out there like 7, 8 times during the time of Suge arranging everything for to get him out. Yeah, from the time he got out, you know what I mean? They flew him out there to the studio. We always there, went out and hung out, did what we do, welcoming to Death Row and everything like that. And, from the time he got out to the time I got incarcerated, which was like, 3 or 4 months, about either 2 months, I think 2 or 3 months before he got, for that thing happened in Vegas.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
From the time that you spent with him, what would you say is your whether it be a story or just what's your favorite memory of hanging out with him?
Well, I would say the story of that I got is that he was a real intelligent youngster. He was cool. He was on his way, to go somewhere. And at that time, I figured, it was all good, but I felt that he could have had a little better guidance. You know what I mean? On personally, things I used to, talk to him about, it was cool, just chill out, man, and, do your rap, do your artist thing, you know what I mean? Kind of just go back off that, because I tell you, he was all right youngster, man. He was, straight up me. I kind of liked him. I kind of gave him, and, we hung out. He was straight, but he's a good artist, man. And Death Row, at that time, you know what I'm saying? Death Row already had a label and a name, When the ties of him being the artist and trying to stay up with Death Row is like, like I say, I feel that he could have had a little more, better guidance instead of wanting to, try to keep up with the label a little bit. You know what I'm saying? With the label and everybody else, I feel that he could have, stuck to the artist because he was on his way somewhere. Without a doubt, everybody know that,
was your reaction when you heard out about when you heard about everything that went down in Vegas?
Well, my truthful reaction, it was poor business, man. I don't, I know what it occurred from. I know where it started from. You know what I mean? From the mall stuff with the homies and all that, but it was way on the another level of these dudes beefing with Puffy and them and all that like that, and going to Vegas, they already knew that all these guys was gonna be out there and all of them was gonna be out there, and I'm not just it shouldn't have went that way. You know what I mean? Me personally, I felt that, I shouldn't have been out there in the front line and things like that, on the gang members affiliation or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, he was an artist. He was still, trying to prove something, and the way that it went down like that, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't there, but I came by it. I know me and I know them. You know what I'm saying? That was mostly all of them that was there at the time when the stuff happened. I talked to all of them, and what they told me, I wasn't agreeing with it because, it was a different caliber of people, and I was a different, type of person. And I couldn't see it like that because I'm knowing if I was there, I couldn't just, they ain't never went down like that. I don't want to go into too much more details of things like that, but people who know me and know the business, they know what I'm talking about. So I don't know, man. I just felt that, that was a waste on Tupac's part of his life, man, because he was a youngster and there was a person's job to kind of, look over the dude, not to be on no other, you know what I mean? That's,
Yeah.
That's
do you feel that his affiliation or attempted affiliation with the gang scene and all that, do you think that was ultimately what ended up happening? I mean, just because there's a lot of people, number one, that want to say Tupac had no affiliation and had no relationship with any sort of gang, but then you have people that also want to say that the guy's a lot, as there's all these crazy people that have these conspiracy theories. And with you knowing him, I mean, do you feel that he could have done anything differently when he got out of jail that would have kept him still here to this day?
All right, first let me answer the first part about the affiliation. Tupac represented Thug Life. The only reason why he even spoke and represented MOB, because that's what Death Row label represented. You know what I'm saying? It was Death Row, and the guys that was there in homeless represent the mob, which stands for money over bitches. And that's why he was representing that like that, but it wasn't on the gang sequences though. He never became a gang member when he was with Death Row. He just rolled with Death Row, and Death Row was gang members. Had gang members in there, so by him being on the label and being there, people would automatically think, well, he was affiliated, he was this, he was that. No, he was representing his label and the people that he, hang with. Was him being an actual gang member? No, but if he's representing your label, that goes with a lot of record companies. Whichever record company you with, they might be beefing with somebody else. You might go in not starting like that. But if they don't want you, if you're not riding with them and beefing with them, then they want to kick you off the label. They don't want you there. It's just some trips that these record labels and all this go on. The person, once they with that label, they want you to carry their beats and everything else along with it. You know what I mean? When they stayed on wax, it was cool. But personally, I don't know. I can't really say I'm not a rapper under them sequences. So no, he never really actually was a gang member. Thug Life was what he pushed, and that's what he was to me. Now, what was the other question you asked?
Do you think there's anything that he could have done differently that would have,
I'll tell you what he could have done differently, and he could could have just took it slow. You know, he could have took it slow. And, you know, like I say, he was kind of young, and he was still, I guess, in some way trying to prove himself to death row. And I told him this one day, we was in the studio on the back, and I was like, hey, man, you know, chill out, man, do your music thing, don't be out there too much like that, because I'm like, you know, dudes ain't what it all turned out to be. You know what I mean? And what I was basically saying is that you got to really know a person got your life in their best interest, man. You know what I mean? This is a rap game, this is a music thing, this is your career, so you got to, you know, don't put too much off into it. I figure if he would have just came in a little slower, you know what I mean? But came in a little slower, focused a little more, and just was, you know, I don't know, you know, but, you know, Pac was a wild type of dude, though. He was, like I said, he held his own. He was, you know, sharp, wild type of dude, man, and he, you know, he was with the group he was with, or he was with what he was with, you know what I mean? And it was like, he could have just slowed up, man. You know, I tried to tell him, but I don't think nobody would have looked out for him in the form of the way that I would have. I mean, because, you know, young dude, I kind of liked it, even, you know, if you can foresee something.
My name is Charmaine, and I just discovered Premier Protein. I have a very active family. I couldn't keep up anymore. I like the chocolate one. It actually tastes really good.
With 30 grams of protein, 160 calories, and just 1 gram of sugar, Premier Protein.
Too good to be good.
Are you ready?
See something before it comes, you know what I mean? You pull them up out of it. I mean, so it's a lot of little things you could have did. That's like the Vegas. I was there, he wouldn't have ran across and did nothing to do, even though they was beefing with him. This other dude was there, deal with that. That's somebody, you know, another different type of problem right there. You know what I'm saying? You don't take your artists like that right there and have them. He just could have just did it, took his road slow, man. You know, he was sharp, man, in so many ways, you know? The way that he was sharp, man, that's what somebody should have been there to support him in them ways, you know? And at that time, I was, you know, incarcerated. But things happen fast, you know?
So were you actually, the first time you heard the To Live About in LA, were you actually incarcerated when you heard that, or had you gotten out for a minute and gone back in?
Nah, I was incarcerated.
Okay.
I was incarcerated, yep. I was talking to him on the phone, talked to him on the phone. I knew